Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It's Wednesday. It's overcast. It's really, really bad weather here where I am in Suffolk. But I'm here to talk about some transfers and possible transfer of a West Ham fan, possibly coming to West Ham United Football Club. And that is Ronnie Edwards of Peterborough. Now, if you don't know who he is, I'm about to tell you. Ronnie Edwards is a young lad who's come through the Barnet Youth Academy. Like, he had one appearance for Barnet before Peterborough picked him up. And obviously, being at Peterborough and Barnet, Football League clubs, Peterborough's system of picking up young players through personal experience is very, very good. They do go through the lower leagues. They do find young, fresh players who want to improve. And Peterborough are a very, very good side. And obviously, Barnet are now sort of fighting in the National League, and Peterborough are now in League One, I believe. So they picked up this man. He's made 80 appearances for Peterborough, Ronnie Edwards. And for me, I think he's a very, very tidy little player for a nice fee we can get him. The reported fee is between 3 and 4 million. What do I think on that? I think it's worth the risk. I think he's a decent player. People rave about him. He signed a contract about 2 years ago for a long-term deal. So I think that people were circling then around this man. He's played for the England under-19s and under-20s. He's made 10 appearances for the under-19. He's made 8 appearances for the under-20s. And he's not far away from the under-21s. Do you know what I mean? Or if not the under-23s team. So, you know, I like this kid, right? I do. I like young talent to come through West Ham. He's not a first-team starter, but he's like a little gem for the future. For 3 to 4 million pounds, I think it's easily worth the risk. I think it's definitely worth. He's definitely worth taking. Other teams are looking at him. He's a West Ham fan. He was born in Harlow, so make of it what you make of it. In regards of him being a West Ham fan, people can say about Flynn Downs being a West Ham fan, it didn't work out. Is this one really worth the risk at 3 to 4 million? I do believe so. He's a centre half. He applies his trade as a centre half. He's good in the air. He's got excellent feet. This kid. He's good at sort of passing the ball out at the back, and yeah, his defensive play is very, very good. If I'm being honest, I think he'd be suited as a midfielder, as a sort of defensive midfielder, but he plays as a centre half at Peterborough, and he's very, very good at doing so. Obviously, they've got Darren Ferguson up there who does pick up talent also from all round the country, and I like Peterborough's model, like under Barry Fry and their owner. I think it's Darren Anthony. I think it is. Yeah, they're well run and they're well sought after. So obviously, West Ham are going to try and aim for him. It's 3 to 4 million. Probably be getting a nice little sort of sell-on clause or some sort of percentage if he goes on and does anything amazing. But for 3 to 4 million pounds, definitely 100% is worth the risk on him. Moving on to this man, Hugo Ekitike is in talks with West Ham. Last night, it come out about Hugo that West Ham could possibly be going for another striker, even though Steiden's in Brazil and he's having a lovely, lovely time in Brazil, going around looking at every striker in the Brazilian league. Someone is looking at Hugo Ekitike from PSG. Decent player. He made 26 appearances, 3 goals for PSG so far in his career. He was loaned to PSG last year, I think it was, from Rennes, where he had made 26 appearances again and scored 10 goals. 21 years old. He's a talent. He's a talent. I like this kid a lot. I think this kid is the sort of player West Ham should be going for. Young, fresh. Obviously, he's a French under 20, I think it is, or under 19 player. But I'm going to be honest. I like this one because this is a man that Newcastle were looking at for a long, long time. Newcastle, if you go back a few transfer windows ago, Newcastle were looking at a striker, and he was the man that was rumoured to be mentioned along with us. We have been linked to this man before. Anyway, Newcastle decided to sort of go with him, and then right at the last minute, they pulled the plug and went after Alexander Isak, which is a very, very good sign in himself. But I do like this kid, Hugo Ekitike. I think he's a decent player, good in the air. He can read the game very, very well, can hold the ball up pretty decent. He's young. And I like the model that where West Ham are going in regards of trying to sign these players, young players, to develop them over a period of time. I I think it's going to be a loan deal. I don't think West Ham are going to take the risk in regards to paying a lot of money. I'll be very, very shocked if West Ham pay 25, 30 million pounds for this man, yeah, and get him on a permanent. I think West Ham should go for a loan with a view to a permanent in the summer. See how he gets on at West Ham, see how he adapts to the Premier League, because all he's ever done is played in the French league. Some players can adapt quite easily, other players can't. So it will remain to be seen on that. If he comes in, he tears it up, West Ham should have first refusal on whether they want to sign him or not. So we will see what happens there with that. Moving on to this man, Maxwell Cornet. Well, he's being linked with everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Burnley, Everton, and Forest. I think the team's looking at him. It hasn't worked out with Maxwell Cornet, and I don't know why it hasn't, but when he was at Burnley, and I was up in Burnley the other week, and they still rave about this man to this present day. He comes to West Ham on a deal for about 17 to 18 million pounds. And I actually thought it was a really, really good signing. When he left Burnley to come to West Ham, I thought, you know what, decent player. Had a very, very good season with Burnley. And he comes to West Ham and he starts off okay. And then he's just had so much bad luck. Right. I mean, like, he's had injuries, he's had viruses, he's had all sorts of problems, right? And he's always been out. Do you know what I'm saying? He does live offside. That's no lie. Every time this man is on the pitch, he does live offside all the time. Does he need to go somewhere else to get more game time? I believe so. I don't think West Ham should sell this man. I think West Ham should loan this man to a team, build him up, and then get him back next season. I think a loan would do him good. I think it'd do the club good. I think he needs to be playing first team football, or at least being involved in the first team more regularly than he is at West Ham. At present, West Ham, he's nowhere near the first team, if I'm being honest. On that left-hand side, obviously, we've got Kudus, Ben Rama, and I do think it's a toss of a coin between Fornells and Cornet to see who stays and who goes. For me, I think Cornet should go. I think it should go on loan, and I think it will do him good. It'll do the club good. And hopefully, if he goes on loan somewhere, it might boost his transfer fee up in sort of like next season. At present, he's not. Who's going to take a risk on him? Really, this season, not many people are going to take a risk on Maxwell Cornet at present. So, hopefully, we will see what happens with that in the next few days. Right, I think Everton are looking at him. He's worked under Sean Dyche before. Forest, thereafter, obviously, Callum Hudson-Odoi. If that one goes through, I don't think it will happen. Maybe if Brendan Johnson does leave the club, he could go there. But I do think it wouldn't surprise me if he did go back to Burnley, because when I was in Burnley the other week and I was talking to many Burnley fans, they turned around and said that they would have him back in a heartbeat because he's like a cult hero up there with them. He's one of the shining lights in their team. So it will remain to be seen with that in what happens there. Anyway, that is enough from me. Before I go, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to E20 Zone TV. And hopefully we will see what happens in the coming days. Anyway, from me to you, take care of yourselves and each other.